Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome to another episode. I am your host, W-I-Z-E. My next guest is actually a kick-ass guest, and I really mean she can kick your ass. Welcome to the show. She's an author, a podcaster, a martial artist. Welcome to the show, Melanie Gibson. What's going on?
Hi, Wise. Thanks for having me. It's all good here.
No, thank you for coming in and stopping by and doing the show. So, all right, so martial artists. What made you get into the martial arts?
So I got into it as a kid, and then I got back into it as an adult. And as a kid, I don't really remember why. I just had this distinct thought that I wanted to learn karate. And as a kid growing up in the 80s out in rural West Texas, karate was the only martial art that I was aware of. I just thought it looked cool. I wasn't really a tomboy, but I also wasn't really into dolls or princesses or anything like that. I really just like to read and draw. I wasn't very athletic other than swimming, but I thought martial arts looked really cool. So I wanted to do that. And I didn't think anything would come of it. And then my parents said, "Oh, we signed you up for Taekwondo lessons." And I'm like, "What the heck is Taekwondo?" So our town had a Taekwondo school, and Taekwondo's a Korean martial art. It's very similar to karate. They both come from similar backgrounds. So if you see them side by side, you'll see some similarities. So we did that as a family for a couple of years, and then life got busy. We quit, and I didn't really think about it for a long time. It was something that I remembered fondly from my childhood, but never thought I'd go back to it. Fast forward to when I'm about 33, and I'm a real hot mess. I'm having some pretty bad mental and emotional health problems. I'm in treatment for them, and I've got kind of a good baseline to make sure I'm not hurting myself or anything, but I'm just miserable. I'm lonely, I'm isolated, I'm making terrible relationship choices. I can't control my emotions. So I had a thought that why don't I start Taekwondo again? Why not now? I was drinking whiskey and taking anti-anxiety pills, and that was my dinner every night. So I had to do something, just had to do something drastic. So I discovered that my childhood instructors out in Snyder, Texas, where I grew up out in the western part of the state, reported up to a grandmaster he's kind of their boss here in Fort Worth. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and it's about 250 miles apart. And so I had remembered him. He was this intimidating, scary Korean guy who used to come to our tests and our tournaments, and he would just kind of sit there and glare at us. And I remembered him. So I've tracked down his school, which is only about 5 miles from my home. And then I started training with him. And I almost, it wasn't an overnight difference, but I had such gains in my mental and emotional health, not to mention learning a new skill and a new sport and all that. But it changed my life just for my emotional and mental health. And that's the best thing I've ever done for myself, injuries and all. I'm so happy that I got back into it.
Wow, that is amazing. And again, yeah, mental health is it's really important. And prime example is whatever happened in the Oscars. It's crazy. People have their moments, they have their ups and downs, and that's why I do my podcast is to be able to bring people on so they can share their stories. And like you said, you went through your issues in your 30s. I had something similar where I lost my wife when I was 31, and I I, I drowned it in alcohol and was very self destructive and just it was when I decided to finally get help that I really was able to turn my life around and so now I do my podcast and it helps me. This is like sort of my therapy as well, to be able to come on and share my story, and then as well have people like yourself come on and share their story. And I just felt like this is what I needed to do. So I just continue to do it. I don't. I'm just having a great time along the way.
Yeah, sometimes beautiful things can come out of really painful experiences. I'm so sorry you went through that. And I'm glad you're here doing this today. The name of your podcast was what stuck out to me, was stuck in my mind. I thought, oh gosh, I've spent so much time stuck in my own mind, and that's what caused a lot of my problems.
And that's everyone. Everyone is eventually is stuck in their mind, and that was me. I was stuck up in there. Even she prepared me in a way because she started me when I got with her. She started me on my path of self discovery, self love, self development. But when you go through something like that, everything goes out the window. You just you don't know how you're gonna react, and that's just life. But for me to come around and turn my life around again and be able to do this now, eh, I feel like she prepared me. She got me started on what would eventually lead me to where I'm at now.
And now you're helping people. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to help one. If it's like one person listening to the episode and they get something from it, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So you have a podcast. Wait, actually, let's talk about your book. So what a book? What made you write a book?
Yeah, so that's where mental health and martial arts and writing and all that intertwine. So, about a year into my Taekwondo training, this was around 2014, I was having all these thoughts, all these insights about life and learning and emotions and all this stuff that was just kind of coming out of my Taekwondo training. It's not like my instructors were sitting there giving life lessons or anything, but I just noticed that there were a lot of life lessons coming out of it. You learn how to be a leader, you learn how to be a student and a follower and join a community and all that. So I thought, I've got to get this out of my head. It's like having an exorcism. And I used to draw and I don't really anymore. So I express myself with writing. And there's a quote that I really like from the painter El Greco. And he said, I paint because the spirits whisper madly inside my head. And that's why I write, because I had all these thoughts and I had to get them out of my head. So I started a blog and I called it Little Black Belt. Now I kind of wish I called it Taekwondiva, but Little Black Belt was what was in my
Is
head,
that well?
because
Is that name taken?
Taekwondo, I don't know. It might be, but I've done Little Black Belt for in 8 years now, so it's a great accessory. It's like a little black dress. You need a little black belt. So I started that blog and didn't think anyone would look at it. My parents read it, so they still do. And I just got my thoughts out. And then about a year into it, another year into it, I thought, I think I've got a cohesive story here. I think I could write a book about my emotional and mental health journey, kind of the parallel alongside going from a white belt to a first degree black belt. So I actually took a course in how to write a memoir, because I was a pretty decent writer, but I really didn't know anything about the kind of the technical side of writing a book. And that was really helpful. And that was probably 2015 was about the time that I crafted most of the book. And that was the year that I got my black belt as well. So everything was happening in real time. So it was really easy to write about it because I could remember it because it just happened. So then, years off and on of editing and pitching to agents and publishers and things like that, I finally found a publisher. And that ended up being my memoir, which is called Kicking and Screaming, a memoir of madness and martial arts. And so that was released in April of 2021. And, it's one thing to write on your computer or on a blog about mental health and things like that, but it was another when I had to start talking about it and publicizing it. So really writing the book forced me to be more of a mental health advocate for myself and for other people. I don't know if I was just in la la land or in denial or something, but I didn't really even talk about my mental health even close to when my book was published. And I thought, I need to start talking about this. So wrote a blog post about my mental health. I started going on podcasts. I started writing articles. And it's really opened up a lot of doors to talk openly about mental health and show other people that it's okay to talk openly about mental health and to ask for what you need. And I like that the best feedback I've gotten on the book is not from martial artists. It's from people who couldn't care less about Taekwondo or karate or anything. It's people who have said, like, yeah, I've had an eating disorder. Yeah, I've had a bad relationship. Yeah, I've been depressed and have had anxiety and all that. And they saw some of this themselves in my story. So that's been kind of my message all along, is that it's okay to talk about your mental health. And find something that you love, that's your passion, that it's not going to cure you, but it can certainly help you find some joy in life.
And it's like it's my therapy. This for me, it was podcasting. And at first, I didn't share my story because I didn't want to. I just wanted to. At first, it was just me ranting about work and the politics and all the nonsense that was going on. And I enjoyed podcasting. I just didn't enjoy the content. And when I switched it over to being able to interview people and have some real great conversations and them be able to share their story, after a while I was like, yo, I have a story I need to share. I have something that people go through all the time, and maybe someone might have to hear the fact that whatever I went through, it might help them. So I started sharing my story more, and it's been therapeutic for me. It's been for me to be able to express that and show people that, hey, I'm a regular guy. I'm vulnerable too. Just like and I went through I went through whatever I went through, but I sought the help that I needed, and I'm here now trying to still struggling, going through whatever, but I'm still battling and getting up and doing what I have to do to be successful at podcasting or whatever I decide to do.
Yeah, and I think we've seen more of that. If anything good has come from this pandemic that we're still living through, is that we're more open about our mental health, whether you're diagnosed with mental health issues or not. Everybody struggled, everybody was sad, everybody was angry and scared, and some people suffered much larger things, some people suffered in smaller ways. But it opened up to the dialogue about let's talk about mental health, because that's as important as our physical health. And let's find ways to cope with it, especially treatment from professionals, but then also finding something that for you, it was podcasting. For me, it's been martial arts and writing, but finding something again that can kind of get you out of your own head, because you're stuck in
Yeah.
your own mind, like the name
Yeah.
of your podcast, get you out of your head and give you something to look forward to in life. And I think we still have a long way to go, but that's one kind of silver lining that's come out of this awful situation we've all been in.
No, you're absolutely right. And at first, I kind of felt kind of bad. Especially like I'm like, oh man, we're going through such dark time right now, and everything. But I'm having fun in what I'm doing. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm meeting some amazing people. I'm networking with some amazing people. Things that I didn't dream about are happening. I'm getting offered opportunities. It's like wow, and at first I was kind of like didn't want to celebrate it because I didn't want people to be like, oh, how can you celebrate such things, especially with everything that's going on. But that's just me in my own head again. That was just me making excuses to not. And then when my nephew's like, listen, man, you need to celebrate any success you have, like regardless of what the times, whatever's going on in the times, you need to to celebrate these little accomplishments and goals that you've attained and build from that. And so since then, things have really started falling into place again. Some of the people that I've interviewed have opened opportunities for me to do other things. So I'm blessed right now, and I'm continue to just do what I do. Hello.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm here just thinking. I'm trying to think of something cool to say, but then I'm also like, I don't want to just rush over what he said. So yeah,
Well,
I agree.
so all right. So your podcast, what's that about?
So my podcast was something that came out of a deep, dark depression. So even though I did Taekwondo was really pulled me out of the pit of despair, and I wrote a book about it and all of that. 2020 was rough, and 2021 seemed to be even worse. So it's like everything came crashing down in 2021. I've had a decades old eating disorder that decided to rear its ugly head, and thankfully I got treatment for it, and I seem to be past it now. But I was going through that. I was in just a year long depression. I was really dissatisfied with work. I was bored. I've been recovering from a major injury and surgery, and so that's put a damper on things. And I just thought I've got to do something. And so I got this idea and thought, "What, my boyfriend and I should do a podcast. We're funny." And so one of the things we love to do is watch movies, but with us, we'll stop it. I mean, we'll stop it a minute in and start either complaining or making fun of it or just making commentary on it and talking about it. And it's pretty funny. Sometimes I wished I could capture what we said. And so I just started thinking on it for a while. You know, it was probably same with you where you had the idea for a while, but you didn't do anything yet. You just needed it to marinate for a
Yeah.
while. So then I told him about it, and I didn't know if he'd be up for it because I'm used to public speaking in my job and stuff, so that's no problem. But not everybody's comfortable with that. But he was all for it, and it was his idea to put it on YouTube. We record it on Twitch, and I do the audio on Anchor, Spotify, and iTunes. So we call it Movie Pain or Pleasure because most of the time we're watching pretty bad movies. We do watch some good ones too, but we watch pretty bad ones. And like we just reviewed the 2018 Robin Hood with Taron Egerton. It's terrible. It's terrible. And so we decide if it's a hate watch, because sometimes you just get so angry that it's funny, or if it's a guilty pleasure. Like the Fast and Furious movies are a good example of that. They're really not good movies, but they
But
are
they're
so hilarious.
entertaining.
They are
Yeah.
so much fun to watch. So there's a definitely guilty pleasures. So that's what we do. And we started it in September, and we've done about 25 episodes or so. We've done some holiday specials and things like that. And in fact, we did our Robin Hood one yesterday. And so I know our parents watch it. So we have an audience of 4 on YouTube and then on iTunes and everything. But we're growing our audience, and we just love being funny. And I think part of me was I was trying to find my authentic self. Is that I have a corporate job. I can't really be completely who I am with that job, or I wasn't letting myself be because I'm a recovering perfectionist. And even promoting my book, it was serious, talking about mental health and things like that. And I couldn't just completely cut loose and be funny. And so that's what I do with the Movie Pain or Pleasure podcast, is just we're straight up comedy with that. And so I can be serious with other things, talking about mental health or when I'm doing my job and things like that. But then I get to really be silly and really be my true self when I'm doing this podcast.
No, yeah, it's because you're right. Because when I do, because of what my podcast is more, I deal with mental health, entrepreneurship. I deal with some serious things and stuff. So I don't really get to joke around unless it's some. But when I get to go on another podcast where they're signed, where they're like sci-fi or whatever, or just whatever, just fun podcast that I get to let my hair down and just have a good time and do fun things. And so that I usually do well, I need to get back on it, but I would do inspirational quotes and I would post them on YouTube. And so I would record all the mess ups and everything, and I had them. So one day let me just do a blooper reel, and I just started cutting little pieces and I released a video, and people loved it. They were like, "Oh man, that was so fun. What made you?" And it was just like, "Hey, let me." I seen a little blooper reel. I was like, "Hey, I got a bunch of blooper reels," and I just snipped them up, put them together, and just released it. And it was just so much fun to be able to do it because I was laughing just editing it, being able to edit and just see myself mess up. But the way I react, I would make like stupid sound effects or just any little thing, and I'm recording myself and I'm just stopping and when I did the video, it was so much fun just being able to laugh at myself and have a good time and be like, listen, you mess up, things happen. Let people see that you're normal. It's fun. It's just things to do and just entertain. And people just had a blast with it. And so I got more blooper reels coming out soon.
Oh, good. Blooper reels are the best. I think my entire podcast is just one blooper reel because we're ridiculous.
Oh man, like I didn't start doing video till September, I started officially doing video for my podcast, and it's so much it's so much fun now that I do the video. Because again, I get now, before it was just the audio, I would just upload the audio and release the audio part of it. But then I had a guest who challenged me and was like, "You seriously, you don't do video? You don't do video?" And that's what they do. They were branding and marketing strategists. So they showed me the error of my
Mhm.
ways, that I needed video content as well as the audio. And so since then, I've been growing my YouTube channel, and I just went over 2,500, 2,800 subscribers. I just officially got monetized, and
Oh,
it's just
awesome.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. I think we're at 44 subscribers. So, but it's something, I mean, that was an entire audience that I wasn't even thinking about. And my boyfriend AJ is very much like he always has a YouTube video going. And so, and I'm more of a I like to listen to podcasts and things. So he
yeah,
was really up on YouTube, and he insisted that from the beginning. He said, "We're going to regret it later on if we don't have funny videos from our first podcast." So that's what we've just done from the beginning is we'll do the video and audio. He takes over editing the video and I take over editing the audio. And they don't always come out at the same time, but we're just loose and free and easy with this. It's just meant to be fun. And
yeah.
so I hope to follow in your footsteps at some point. Hopefully we can make some money off our silliness.
Oh, I just got monetized, so I don't really know. But it's just the fact that I've I've worked hard to build this this podcast, and just, but it's not, to someone else who does it, who just wants, who does it, and I love doing it, so it's not work. So
Hmm.
to me, I can sit here all day and record. I can record multiple shows, and but it's opened up so many opportunities for me. It's given me the opportunity to help other people produce their podcast. Like, later on today, I'm meeting with someone because they want me to help them produce their show, and that is, to me, it's like, wow, I'm it's amazing. Like, if you would have told me 2 years ago, if I would be doing this, like, I'm really crazy. I don't know any of the stuff that I know now. I didn't. I wasn't into editing audio or video. But once I started doing this, and I started doing it myself, I had to learn,
Hmm.
and it was just so much fun learning to do it and being able to now edit video and edit audio, and I'm still learning. I'm not a professional, but I'm still learning and growing. I don't mind asking questions from people that are professionals.
Yeah, you just learn along the way, and I think that was a fear I had to get over was that I wasn't going to be perfect right from the beginning because I'm still a recovering perfectionist, still trying to get over it. And the podcast I do is just total fun.
Yeah,
And so I have a job. I'm not trying to make money off of it or anything. It's just fun. If we do, great. If not, it's therapeutic. I started
it
it
is.
because I was depressed. I was bored. I needed something fun to do. And so that's what I'm getting out of it is when your hobby isn't fun anymore, then it becomes work. So right now it's still lots of fun. And it's even just using simple things like Anchor, and I discover how to do something. I get so excited because I think, oh, I learned this little editing trick. And he's learned how to do more with video on YouTube, and so he's adding some funny stuff in now and clips, and we're making little videos to put on Instagram. So yeah, it's been just over the last, I guess, about 6 months. It's been a lot of growth, a lot of learning, and it's been loads of fun.
And that's what it is. It's when you enjoy it so much, and it's. I wish everyone could find what they love to do, and be able to do it, and because it's so much fun to be able to sit here and like you said, learn these new things. I've learned some new programs. I'm still messing around with some of the other things, but it's so much. It's when you make learning fun, it's completely different. It's not like how when you go to school and they program you and drill you, at least what they want you to learn. When you actually learn something that you really want to learn, and find joy in doing it, it's so much easier.
Yeah, and that's back to martial arts. That's That's what I love about it. It's fun. One time I posted a video of me breaking boards or something, and an old high school classmate said, "Why do y'all do that stuff?" Imagine that, the West Texas accent coming out. So, "Why y'all do that?" Yes. And so I just said, "Because I want to. I'm in my 40s. I have a corporate job. Don't you think I want to break stuff and yell and scream? It's fun. Who cares?" So, yeah, that's what I love about martial arts. And I write articles sometimes about it. And I say, when it stops being fun, maybe that's the time to take a break.
You know what it is though? I've realized now that I'm in my 40s. I'm way past my 40s, but it's you care less what people think. And
Hmm.
when you care less what people think, you kind of like, okay, things start to flourish and things are, because now you're feeling like, okay, now you have this confidence and more like, I don't care what people say, I'm still gonna try and do something. And I've realized now, later on in my 40s, now that I'm kind of like found my path and found my way, it's like, hey, I'm still young, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still be able to do things. And yeah, it took me a while to get here, but hey, it was the that was the path that I had to go through.
Yeah, and for me, last year the word was authenticity, and that was a real
Oh
challenge. It's
yes.
something I talked about with my counselors. It was something I was starting to see pop up just in social media and in articles, was authenticity. And I thought, I don't really know who I am, and I've been this fake version of myself
For
for many,
years.
many years. And
Yes.
I don't necessarily think it's pressure from other people or my job or anything. I think a lot of it was pressure I put on myself. That's why it took me so long to seek help for my
Yeah.
mental health issues. I don't recommend that. And then, pretending to be perfect in the workplace. I finally broke down and told my boss and said, "I am having like a serious mental health crisis. I need help. I need something." And that turned out to be a great conversation. And so it's almost like I had to prove to myself that it's okay to be your authentic self. That's when kind of doing my comedy podcast is part of that. And I've just, you still have to be a certain way in the corporate world, but I've learned that I don't have to be so stiff and so formal. And I can be
You.
myself and be
Yeah.
more relaxed. And you're right, things flourish, things come out of it, new relationships, new opportunities. And all it takes is being yourself, but that's easier said than done when you kinda don't know what that looks like.
And for you, like I said, for years I didn't know what I was supposed to do. It was like I'm in my 40s and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Why am I here? What is my purpose? And again, it was just me, I guess, me having to go through the pandemic and really s- focus and really like, listen, it's time is now for me to really find what I'm supposed to do. And when you start opening up and you're willing to listen to the messages that are out there for you, things just start to happen. Things Positive things start to happen, and I just continue to, you know what, this is happening for a reason. Obviously I'm on the right path, so I'm continue to do what I'm doing. So I'm taking all the courses that I can, and helping me develop the skills that I want to help me spread my message, to be able to come out here and produce content that is positive, to have people like yourself come on and share your mental health issues, and be able to be like, hey, listen, I went through this, you can get over it. I got over it. Yes, you found it in martial arts, I found it in podcasting. Now you found it in your blog, and now podcasting is also helping you express yourself as well. So being able to come on and being able to share this with other people that are out there not knowing what to do, and hopefully them listening to us and hearing us say, seek professional help. It's okay. It's all right. No one's going to judge you. It's okay to go out there and seek the help that you need.
Mhm, and you said the time is now, and that could mean many different things, like you said, seeking help for a problem that you're having, and then taking a chance to do something you wanna do. We've seen some of that with this great resignation movement. I don't know what the end result's going to look like. And, I think my boss, who just actually left for another job, said to her it was more like a great realization. And it was, you're not necessarily going to say, I'm going to quit this job right now, but maybe it's a realization that I don't necessarily
But
like where my life is going.
yeah,
I've been complacent with it. It's, it's okay. Like, say it's a job, it pays the bills, serves its purpose, all that. But maybe I want to do something different. And, I don't necessarily think your passion doesn't have to be your paycheck. So sometimes a job is just a job. But you may find I want to do something more fulfilling or something more interesting or something that pays more or something that gives me more work-life balance, whatever that is I really like that employers are sort of taking that back in their hands and saying, no, it's an employee's market. Or I said employers, I meant employees. Employees are taking that back and saying, no, it's we decide what we want our jobs to look like. And I like how it's an employee's market right now. I was meeting with our HR group earlier today with my day job, and we were talking about the hiring process and interviewing and all that. And they said it's really like the candidates market right now, because people are saying, no, I'm not going to put up with these certain conditions, or no, I'm going to go find a job that gives me remote work or better benefits or whatever. So it's just that opportunity to realize, I deserve better. I deserve something good, and I'm going to go out and seek that. And I gave the example of a job, but it could be a relationship, or it could be finding a hobby you like, whatever that is that, again, some good things that have come from this pandemic, or people are realizing that life is short and we need to take the time. The time is now to go seek out what makes us happy.
yeah, you're absolutely right with that. And again, I've especially with the pandemic, it was like, what were you doing? I was home. I was furloughed from work. I was getting extra. They was paying at giving me extra money, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this money? I can spend it on Amazon and and stuff, or I can invest it in myself and take these courses and purchase these programs that are gonna help me in what I want to do. And that's what I decided to do. When I found out that podcasting is what I wanted to do, I had already purchased a little podcast studio in 2019. So I had the equipment in the house. So basically, yeah, stuck in my mind had been in the process for a year prior to the pandemic or whatever. And again, it took getting furloughed from work, missing and being home to finally decide to press record and get out of my own way. And once I found that out, yeah, I invested in a quality mic. I don't suggest everybody does this. You can do it with an inexpensive mic and what a little mix or whatever you want to do. But the point is to get started. I had to press record. That was the key. It was me pressing record and getting started. And when I found out this is what I want to do, like I said, I invested in myself. I took courses. I invested in the quality mic. I got me a Rodecaster Pro. These are the things that I wanted because I wanted in order for I felt like, hey, if I'm going to do this, then I want to give people the best quality that I can get them. So
Mm-hmm.
investing in yourself is a good start.
Yeah, it is. And like you said earlier, you never know where the opportunities are going to lead you. I never thought about podcasting until it really came from doing the book. And I hired a publicist, and they got me set up with doing podcasts. And I remember the first time I was on a podcast, and we did it on the Anchor app, and I was so nervous and I was excited. I thought, oh, I hope I'm doing this right, and learning how to do it. And the person who interviewed me said, maybe you should do a podcast. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then you get the bug for it and you think, well, maybe I do. And then several months later, I'm not feeling great. And then kind of the idea bubbled up. Well, yeah, maybe I do want to do a podcast. And I remember we were walking around Target so nervous about this Yeti microphone. They were, do we buy it? Do we not? What do we do? And tried to find a Best Buy in town, and it ended up being a Spirit Halloween store. So we go back to Target and we buy our microphone and got a ring light. And so his mom gave us a webcam. And so piece by piece, we're learning how to be podcasters.
That's how it starts. It starts with piece by piece. And like I said, it was with a little Behringer studio that I paid $160 for. It came with the mic, the mixer, the adapter to plug it into my laptop. And the camera I used originally was the camera on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how I started. And like I said, but when I felt that this is what I wanted to do, and I just invested in myself.
That's awesome. And I think that's kind of repeating the message is go for it because we don't know if we're going to have tomorrow. So just
You know,
go for it. Take the class, take the job, do something.
yeah, you don't know tomorrow. I like I said, I've experienced, like after I lost my wife, it was a lot of things that happened. So I realized life is precious. You have to take every day that comes. So every morning when I wake up, I am so grateful that I'm alive and able to continue on this journey. So I'm gonna take advantage of it, and I'm gonna do what I love to do.
Good. I'm going to think about this tomorrow when I'm doom scrolling on my phone. I'm like, Wise told me to celebrate life, and here I am just doom scrolling on Facebook. So
Don't get
that's
me
good
wrong,
to keep
I
in
get
mind.
caught up. I get caught up on, but I'm realizing more. I need to stop scrolling and just use them for what they are. Is they're tools to help me grow the podcast and grow my brand. So I need to take advantage of that. And yes, need to stop. I need to stop scrolling just as much.
Yeah, it is. It's a tool. It's not a band-aid or anything else.
No, but we're still learning. Again, we're still learning, and hey, it's learning's half the battle.
Mhm. See, this is therapeutic just talking to you. Now I
It's
get it. Now I see the therapeutic aspect of it.
and because something you was talking authenticity, being authentic, and that's what I try to be. Is when I do my show, I just be myself. I don't try to be more than what I am. I'm a regular guy doing what I love to do, speaking to some great people, learning from them. Hopefully, they pick something up from the conversation, and we have just and build relationships with that. Because I've had guests. I've had a guest on recent, not that long ago, that we had it was great that she invited me to speak for a Women's Day event she just had at the beginning of the month, and that was my first public speaking event.
Oh,
Like if
wow,
it was
that's cool.
virtual, it was virtual, but it was my first real public. And then I'm thinking about, hey, but I do my podcast, so I guess I am doing public speaking, but my podcast is pre-recorded, so it's not like I'm doing
Mhm.
it to a live audience. But I've done live shows, so I'm like, I can do this,
Yeah, you
and
could do it. It's a little bit different, but you're using the same skill set.
yes, but I got really emotional because it was my topic for the thing was overcoming adversity. So I guess I spoke about my wife and all this stuff, and I got emotional. But it was my first speaking engagement, so now I know I kind of. But it was fun, and it just showed me that, hey, listen, just just do things, and I would have never thought I would. Like I said, a couple of years ago, I would never thought I would have been speaking at an event. And here I go. Here I am speaking at an event, and being able to do it is like, wow, stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something that I normally don't do. It's like, okay, I can start doing more things like that. Something I've felt for years. Maybe, hey, I can't do it. Maybe I really can. Let me try.
Yeah, you never know. Next thing it could be a TED Talk.
Could be. I'm not. Hey, put it out there.
I keep thinking I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't know what I would talk about. So I'd have to I'd have to think of something to talk about first. And sometimes when I was at my low point last year, I thought I haven't lived the end of my TED Talk yet. Like I could talk about Taekwondo and martial arts and all this stuff. I thought, but where's the part where I quit my corporate job and I start some new venture and I go off and I'm traveling the world and all that hasn't happened yet. And I don't know if it needs to. So I'm not, I want to do a TED talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. So I'm getting there.
Eh, yeah, I'm still learning. I don't have mine yet. I don't think I want to. I still haven't quit my job. I still work my day job. So
Yeah. And my day job's good. So if anybody from work is listening, I like my day job. It's great. You're all great. I like my
oh,
side hustle too.
my day job. Yeah, I listen. My day job is an easy day job. I can't complain.
No, I can't either.
But yeah, I'm. sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I think it's almost that time. But it's so much. I get paid. Listen, I get paid to play games. I'm a table games dealer, so I get paid to play games. So it's fun. If you can count to 21, you can do my job.
That's cool. Are you in Vegas or?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania. You would never think that.
Okay.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Well, okay. Where in Pennsylvania?
Right outside of I'm in the northeast part of Pennsylvania.
Okay, my mom's from Bethlehem. I spent all my summers in Bethlehem.
Oh, Wind Creek is over there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're at a casino there. Is it in the Poconos where you are, or?
Yeah, I'm in the Poconos.
Okay, yeah, I've been to the Poconos. I miss Tasty Cakes. You know, my grandparents used to send us care packages of
Tasty
the
cakes, yes.
oh man, the peanut butter candy cakes, and I'll go off on a whole rant on Tasty Cakes. They used to sell them online, so I'm in Texas, which is a Tasty Cake desert. And
Yeah.
so I could buy huge box sets of them, and then they stopped. They're just like, "Oh, we're going to do nationwide distribution." Well,
Not to Texas.
you barely find them. My mom found the crimpets at this specialty grocery store. They sell the honey buns and the pies, but
Yeah.
they don't sell the really good ones like the candy cakes and the chocolate juniors and the
You
cupcakes.
find, but see up here, and the thing is, up here you find them regularly. I go to the gas
I
station right
know,
now. I go to the gas station right now, and they're right there.
man. Oh, you know what the best ones are? I can still taste this in my mind from my childhood. The dark chocolate coconut ones.
See, I'm not a big coconut
Oh,
guy, so
but they're so good. See, I could go off on a whole rant with Tasty Cake, but yeah, that was part of my childhood, and I haven't even opened the box of crimpets my mom gave me yet because I want to save them. They'll
yeah,
last.
save them. Yeah. All right, but now it's time where you get to plug away. Let them know your websites, where to get the book, where the podcast is, everything.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of different ways to find me, so we'll start with the book, and I'll hold it up so those of you watching the
We
video
got to
can
move
see
it over
it.
a little more. There we go.
All right, I
Right
can never do this right when I'm on video because I'm backwards. It's called Kicking and Screaming, a memoir of madness and martial arts, and you can buy it wherever books are sold. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, bookshop.org, wherever you want to buy books. I don't know if it's in too many brick and mortar stores, but you can buy it online. You can buy it in paperback, and you can buy it in an e-reader. And I don't know when this is going to air, but I'll say it now, is that the e-version will be on sale for 99 cents from April 1st through April 11th. And there may be other sales like that coming up in the future. So
that means I have to get it out by April 1st so y'all can see this and go purchase the book for 99 cents.
Or how about this? How about I send you a signed copy?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm serious. Let's talk when we're done. Give me your address. I'll send you a copy.
Definitely
Yeah.
take that.
So that's how you find the book. And not everybody can get a signed copy, sorry, but you can buy it online. And I'd love to hear from readers. So send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. So again, how to find me. My blog is littleblackbelt.com. On social media, I'm most active on Instagram. So I'm at Melanie Gibson Author. And I'm on Facebook, Melanie Gibson Author, but I'm mostly on Instagram. And on Instagram, you can find my link tree to everything, to the blog, to several articles that I've written about mental health. I'll put a link to this podcast on there. The podcast that I do, Movie Pain or Pleasure, is on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. So I'm very findable. I would say if you're listening to this and you want to find me, start with Instagram, Melanie Gibson Author.
Which I'm already following, so I will be putting her information in the description. So
okay, thank you.
All right, but thank you. But now it is time for shout outs, and we'll talk a little bit after. All right, big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J, love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady Fina, love you baby and appreciate you. Big shout out to Melanie Gibson for coming through and sharing her love and her story. And big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. And you know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at wise_b_blunt, Instagram at wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.